Yes, we are here. Let me get under here, get some more light. See if I come back a little bit. Does that give us some better light? I think it does. Hi, everybody. Come on in here. Come on in. This is Focus from the Focus of Love. What's a day? That means this is going to be amazing. When the technology cutting up and life is lifing and you up to doing big things, the universe is like, how bad do you want it? Is what the universe is saying. It's saying, how bad do you want it? And I want it bad. So I'm over here. Let me see. Says I'm live. Let me see. Can you see me? Yes, you can, because I can see you see me. Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. Let me send someone a link so they can come on and get in here, guys. You're going to want to absolutely invite some folks. This is the launch. You're going to be able to send you the OG. Uh, you were on the first launch. Stacy in the house. How are you, Stacy? Oh, I appreciate you joining us. Yes. Let me put this up here. How are you, Stacy? Are you enjoying this weather? Here we go. Uh-huh. Let me see if I'm doing this correctly. Uh-huh. Oh, this is about to go down. It's about to go down. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story that was shared with me while we waited for the folks to come on in the building here. Let me see if I can send this. Then I should be able to pin it at the top. Yep, let me see. Yep, pin the message. There we go. Pin that at the top. And then, here we go. So, let me share. Here we go. Got that, got that. Yeah, we got this title. We're going to probably play with the title a couple times. Focus on, here we go, on relationships. And we're going to talk about why so many people are single yet not connecting, right? Why is that? And I get that question all the time. Like they go on a app, 100,000 singles available. Yet the conversation is just so waxed. People are not responding swiftly. They can drop a message in like 20 days, somebody go, hey, back, right? Or it's that famous why, what you doing? WYD, what are you doing, right? Which frustrates so many women because it's like you're not even making an effort. You showing me an acronym, and I totally get that. And you feel like you got to teach people to court you and date you, and it can be really stressful, specifically if you are a person who know what you want, how you want to be taught, excuse me, how you want to be treated because you were taught by dad or brothers for female, and for men, you saw an awesome relationship with your mom and dad or a relative. So you know, or at least you perceive you know, how a woman should be approaching you or responding to you or allowing you to pursue her and quarter. So it can be so frustrating, and specifically for those who've been in love before, and maybe it did end up in divorce, but it was a beautiful marriage, but it didn't turn out right. Or your significant other transition, right? But you felt like you had true love, and it's like, whoa, people love to say somebody pissed in the dating pool, right? I'm good, and the weather is lovely. It is lovely, right, Stacy? So beautiful. So how do you meet people? Well, so many ways that you can meet people. And one of the ways I'm going to tell you to meet people is meetup. Now, Meetup just happens to be, I'm not getting paid for Meetup, not yet. But Meetup just happens to be an amazing tool because it's all over the country and it's free right now for you to be a member. You go on to Meetup, you put in your zip code, and it will also give you options of things that you're interested in. And you will have a plethora of groups that meet literally virtually and live. So you see why I want to get off because several of my clients like, oh, because I don't want to do the whole dating app thing. It's such a disconnect. I don't really get to see the person. I could get catfished. I don't know the whole dance of how to message. That'll come down the line. We're gonna do some trainings around that. We're gonna have some conversations where I can tell you exactly what to do, how to get people off those apps as quick as possible, safely using a Google number or not, depending on how comfortable you feel, but you're able to do it, right? So that you can, it's a numbers game. And I think people are discouraged because they're like, well, I had 4 dates and it didn't go anywhere. Well, it's great that you're getting a first date, but we also want to talk about how to vet before you even go on the first date to know if it's even a match to do that. How to maybe do a coffee date or a Zoom date to know if it's even a match. Sorry for the background noise. I just had this couch. Y'all like my couch? Y'all like my couch? Literally just had it delivered. So it's a red couch. I fell in love with it when I went in. I was like, I gotta have it. So it was delivered over an hour ago or so. Several things were broken while they were trying to do it. And they broke my screen door, broke my bell. Right? I was like, listen, and then got a nick on it. And the gentleman said, well, just one little nick. I said, one little nick that wasn't there before you delivered it, right? So the owner said, take off whatever you want, whatever you think is fair, right? And because he owned it, I really appreciate it because he broke the screen. It was like, I'll come back and fix it on Saturday. I said, thank you. You know, I appreciate you having integrity and noticing it, not trying to blow it off. Listen, I'm already talking about relationships. I'm still talking about relationships, although I'm talking about my pretty couch, my red couch. Had to have it. And I got some accent pillows, the yellows to go with it, right? I'll bring that down. You see that in the next one. Men is so important. Women is so important to keep your word. And if you can keep your word and you say something off putting, you say something that's out the way, you're running late for the date, you can't keep the date, to actually say it out loud. Don't blow it off. Don't do the whole 52 fake out. Oh, it's today. I thought you meant Saturday. And you playing these mind games. You're gonna just shut down the bucket of love. When people start feeling like it's suspect, they're gonna be like, oh, come on. You know, here we go with the games. Because at contrary to beliefs, a lot of people don't feel like this, but it ain't a feeling. It's a universal law, and that is that you do reap what you sow. So I'm not saying be, live in fantasy. I'm definitely not asking you to act like a thing ain't a thing. What I am asking you is to practice the golden rule: love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So if you need to change the date, if you recognize that there was a hiccup, you got called into work, let that person know immediately, right? You don't want to play that game an hour before. Oh, you know, I got called in, to work. So you play now. I bet you she ain't gonna cancel because now that I called in to work, she's gonna definitely want to keep the date. Don't play all these mental games with folks, right? A lot of people are talking about causing upset and emotion allows you to have a soul tie and make men want to chase you more. What it's also doing is creating drama and trauma in the folks, right? And listen, people just went through a couple of years of COVID. You don't really know if they on the edge of a mental breakdown where they turn into a stalker or somebody that's really harmful. So you don't be playing these games. Plus, if you have children, relatives, family, and friends, when we say reap what you sow, it's not even necessarily that you will reap what you sow. It could definitely get passed down to your children. So I just want to talk about that premise right there. How are we functioning? People are like, it's so many out there, but I'm not connecting. So what's your language? Is your language like you got to, you have to? I got higher standards. You either gotta reach them or not. You know, it it can turn people off from the door. So it's so important to sit in your soul and not just, hey, I'm a relationship expert, right? And I want you to hear me. I want you to come back every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. We're gonna be right here. I'm gonna be sharing the nuggets so you can get the love you want. And I want you to sit in your soul and take what gives you peace to seek out the love you want. I'm not the end all be all. You need to cross reference some of this stuff with your God and your soul, what works for you. Because so many people are functioning off of the gurus and the books they're reading is so inauthentic. People can hear it on the phone, people can hear it through the message. They can tell you reading off of a script. And you're like, why am I not connecting with people? Because you're not even connected with yourself. You're not even connected with yourself. You don't even sound authentic to whom you are. So it's something missing. So the person like, wow, your pictures look beautiful. I read your summary. So it just don't match. I'm a little surprised, right? You'll hear statements like that, right? When they start talking to you. So I just want to say that out loud. Let's set the first premise. Who are you when nobody's looking? Who are you, right? What kind of relationship you looking for? What kind of image that you are projecting on the scene called dating, right? Are you the, I got a couple degrees, I'm not settling for anything, I'm paying 50-50 because you're not going to run me? Are you the, oh, I can't pay anything, I'm a wife, right? Where are you? Are you something in between that? And see, that's something you have to settle within yourself. Because if you're just jumping from whichever person and whatever social media thread is running the most at the time, you're not going to be able to connect with somebody else because you, again, you're frazzled and all over the place and can't connect with who you are, right? So I just want to say that out loud. Let me check on the comments. Does anybody comment? And feel free, guys. I see a couple people on there. Feel free to comment. Definitely share this, guys. Give me a like, please. Give me a share. Send this to a friend, a family member. You know, the summer is coming. We in the spring is getting hot, and girlfriends and dudes is calling each other. Let's go. Let's meet them. We gotta get some women, right? And, we want to go out. We want to be seen and heard. Invite that person here because some people just trying to have a hot girl summer, but some people really want some deep connection. They really looking for love, and you got to transform your mind because if you could have had it by now, you probably would have. And that's not making you wrong. That's just saying you need some new information, right? So why do so many people single and not connected? Most likely it's the mindset. It's the mindset that you have that's causing you to butt heads with the other gender, right? So let me share this with you. So on a dating app, here I have a story for you. On a dating app, gentleman was like, the female was like, hey, you're a man of a few words because the comments were so short. He said, no, I'm just not one to really do a lot of texting as a grown man. As a grown man, I really want to have a conversation. And she said, well, oh, does that mean you're trying to set me up to ask me for my number? He said, no, not really. I said, oh, okay. He's like, well, oh, okay. So see, women, I'm trying to remember what I told her to say, and I told her to say, well, oh right, I told her to say, oh okay, would you like to let me know when you're ready to exchange numbers, right? And that's what I said to her. Let me get this story straight, guys. I want to make sure I'm delivering it, for you on point. So that's what she said to him. And then he messaged her back. He said, oh, I wasn't really trying to set you up, for anything. But if you're interested in exchanging numbers, we can. So she said, sure. Send me your number and I'll, text you mine. So a couple days go by. You know how you on these apps, which I'm gonna stick a pin in it right there. So you want to set up time when you are on the apps. That when are you going to go in? It can be on Tuesdays or Thursdays, Monday, Wednesday, because and I earnestly don't suggest you put your notifications on. They can be very distracting while you're trying to live your life. But specifically, women, we are in different energies throughout the day. So if you're just popping out of a board meeting, you just in the middle of your workday, you're not going to be in the most soft, feminine self. If you just made major decisions on the account, you don't really want to reply to a text because you might be in such a mode that is just not warm, just not soothing to a man, right? Because you just want it right there. You and your boss lady. So I recommend you schedule it at a time where you're soft, where you are chill. After you get home, you take your shower, you laying across your bed, you're kicking your feet up, and then you sit across your bed and you're responding to the text, right? You're relaxed. So that this way you're not off-putting by answering short, or in a problem solving mode, right? So I just want to share that out loud. So I told her, ask him, well, when you're ready to ask me for my number, I would like that or something like that. He said, well, I really wasn't trying to do that. She said, okay. So she said, well, he finally asked her and said, well, here's my number. So she said, sure, okay, here's my number. But she waited a couple of days simply because she didn't get on, right? Long story short, he reached out about 1 in the morning saying, good morning, sweetheart, which obviously it wasn't morning, but perhaps he thought she was going to get it in the morning. But let me tell you folks, don't text nobody in the wee hours of the night and you just meet them on an app. You haven't even went on a date. There was no connection. It gives stalker vibes, right, guys? Stacey doesn't get stalker vibes. It gives creeping vibes. You wait till daytime hours, like maybe like 8 or 9. You go to about another 9 or 10 when you're first meeting the person, especially if you're on an app and you just exchange number, or you're on the DMs, you just exchange number. That wee hour is just given. It could give you desperate. It can give you just want sex. Or you just want to be intimate. It can just give too much that you could feed into. But you reach out in a respectable hour, you could have a possible opportunity of seeing that you come in with respect and that you truly are interested in it is not just something physical, right? So let me just say that. All right, we're gonna take the pen out. So it's like one something in the morning, do text, good morning, beautiful. So unfortunately, it wakes her up because she doesn't have a notification on for whatever her lifestyle requires, so she doesn't. It wakes her up, she can't get back to sleep. So a few hours later, she texts, hey, your text woke me up. I can't go back to sleep. Uh, and then she tries to get back to sleep. Then around about, I think she said around about 5 o'clock, another text comes through saying, good morning, I hope you slept well. 5 a.m. So you text at 1, then another text at 5. And we asking questions like, why are so many single people out here and we not connected? Sir, why are you texting a woman you've never talked to, just got a number at 1 a.m. and 5 a.m.? Now I know I hear some people that was too late and early. Yes, right? Right, Stacey? So someone will say, well, some women like it, maybe, but why are you rolling that dice the first time? So you wait for the daylight hours, 8 a.m. to like 9, and go, hey, got your number, glad to meet you. What's a good time to reach out? You set up the respectable boundaries, ask the female, and you're showing from the door that she matters as a human being, that you want to dance this dance with her. You don't just impose on her what works for you. So she was like, she texted, a little later, was like, hey, did you get my first text? He said, yeah, right? Like, yeah. She's like, well, why would you text me at 5 a.m. if I just told you woke me up and I couldn't wake up? She's like, I can't even, I'm so exhausted. I can't even make my lunch. I'm running late for work. I'm gonna have to run out the door. He was like, oh, and that's all he said. Now, with my clients, I always suggest to do a voice note. What she did, she did a voice note. So everybody sees that message you can do on your cell phone, right? And because you can hear the intentionality, you can hear the tone. Um, when you send a text message, it could be read. It will most likely be read in that person's emotions, their frame of mind. When you leave a voice note, it's less interpretative. Still can, but also they can feel. They can feel your heartbeat. They can feel your soul. So she left the voice note and basically said something like, "Hey, I appreciate your interest. However, when you call me you text me at 1, you text me at 5. I expressed it was waking me up. You didn't even acknowledge that it woke me up and apologize. Instead, you just text me as if you didn't see it. And at 5, and I'm telling you, I'm running late for work. Didn't even make my lunch. I said, are you the type of man, you know, that holds himself accountable and and apologize if he needs to if he has a hiccup, and then try to fix it, or that's not you, because it would be really kind of you right now to cash at me some funds to buy me lunch, right? I don't know if I would have went that far and asked for lunch money, right? What do y'all say, y'all? What do y'all say? I don't know if I would there for us. Stacey said, plus the thought he liked talking, texting. He done text twice. I know. So be like, which way this gonna go, right? So I don't know if I would have asked him for lunch, but what I will say is she asked him for an apology to acknowledge that I'm communicating to you that you woke me up. I'm running late from work. I didn't even get a chance to make my lunch because I couldn't get back to sleep and I'm tossing and turning. She sent me a screenshot of this part because it was mind blowing. It said, "Are you asking me to apologize for waking you up? I didn't know a text could wake you up." And then he goes, um, "Oh, and while you were up, why don't you just have made your lunch since you couldn't go back to sleep?" I had to read that like 3 times. Like now, the man that offended the lady that I think, in a very gracious way, said to him, "You woke me up twice in the middle of the night. We've never spoken and dealt with each other. You're going to text me at 1, you text me at 5, and you owe me an apology for disturbing my rest. Now I'm running late for work." So instead of him just simply saying, "And fellas, I want to hear from you guys." Brenda, the solutionist. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you for your patience. I know that. Thank you for being here. I want to hear from the gentleman. At first glance, what would you have said? I don't know. Most of the men that's gonna watch my show is probably gonna be like, "I would have never texted a woman at 1 in the morning. I just would have waited because first of all, it would have made me look thirsty. Second of all, I don't know if it would have woke her up. I don't know who else in her household. I don't even know what situation she in. I'm not trying to bring no drama to myself, so I would have just waited, right?" So the kind of followers I have, this tribe here, we know the text in a respectable hour unless we already in the boo loving stage and we've already opened that up to text me anytime you want, right? I'll get up for you, boo, right? So the men in this tribe. So if you hear and this don't make sense to you, keep coming back and keep listening to the videos until it regulate. That might be why you're single, or just keep getting, women that just want to hit it and quit it, just like it. If you really trying to look for love, right? So he says something version of, "You trying to ask me to apologize? And why didn't you get up and make your own lunch?" Can you believe the audacity? So, fellas, what would you have said? And let me just challenge you. Let me push a little bit. We're talking about having a lot of single people and people not connecting, females and males. If someone brought something to your attention that offended them or upset them or asked you to regulate what you did or didn't do in a certain way, how would you deal with that? Would you really hear what they're going to say? Are you able to sit in your soul and listen and go, "Can I see it from that other person's point of view?" So you might not think it's wrong, and that's okay. However, you're injecting yourself in another person's whole world. So they got a vote of how you show up in theirs. Are you open for them to saying, "I didn't like when you said or done this," or "Can we do it this way or that way?" Because that's what it is not to be single, right? Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate you being here. Hi, Taj. So glad to have you. So when you go into another person's world and you call yourself wanting to date and couple up, there's going to absolutely be going to the need to be some regulating of who you are currently and who you are as a couple. I know. Somebody just was like, "Focus, I'm going to be who I am." You can, and you probably will be single because they're absolute. Listen, when we get a job, when we get a client, when we have children, when we're around our parents, we're around our aunties, our church, our mosque, our synagogue, we all have different ways of being based off of the community and the person that we're with. So if you think now that you're going to do the coupling, the dating, that there is no self-regulation and shifting and molding and being malleable, it ain't gonna work. I'm telling you that right now. You're gonna constantly be frustrated about why you're single because someone will have to evolve in a relationship. Both parties will have to evolve in a relationship. So we already know this dude is failing miserably. He texted at 1 a.m., he texted at 5. The sister brought it to his attention, left a voice note very sweetly, in my opinion. I don't know about if I would have asked him to buy the lunch, but okay, she threw it out there. But he denied responsibility, talking about, I didn't know a text can wake somebody up. Who not know a text can wake you up if your notification's on? Even if your notification's on, a lot of people's phone light up when it's on. So even a sound might not be on, right? So he threw it back on her, wouldn't take responsibility instead of saying, I apologize for texting you. Then he says, well, I would, at least I didn't call. I didn't want to call because it was so late. I just text. So she said when she got to work, and you know how you're going through all your notifications, it was a missed call at 1:35ish or something like that. So he did call. Some people might say this petty, some people may not. You tell me, guys. Drop it in the text. Was this petty, or was this just making a point, or was this keeping the conversation going? She took a screenshot of the missed call and sent it to him, right? Like, so he texts back, well, I didn't mean to make that call. It was by accident, some version of that. Still not holding himself accountable. He just said, I didn't mean to make the call. That's still not an apology, sir. That's still not holding yourself accountable. You pretended that you didn't call, that you only text until she happened to notice the notification. So you wasn't even going to acknowledge that part. So you technically withholding is also lying. So where are we going after this, y'all? Where could she go? We still talking about why there's so many single people and people not connecting. I'm using it through a story so you can see how you're seeing how this man's integrity is just not there. He's not even holding himself accountable. He's not even rationally thinking why it's not okay to text a woman 1 a.m. in the morning, not knowing her schedule, not knowing if she's taking care of a sick kid, and then woke up the sick kid. He has no clue. And then had the nerve to tell her, well, since you couldn't sleep, why didn't you get up and make your lunch? He don't know the household, if that would have woke children up or a in-law or outlaw or an elderly parent up. He's now trying to tell her what she should have done in reaction to what he did to her. Where are we going in this relationship? There is no place. This person has the lack of intelligence, emotional intelligence is just beyond, right? Problem solving. He doesn't even know how to solve the problem that she said, I need you to apologize because you woke me up. He didn't even know to just go, ooh, hands up, that was my bad. And we haven't even talked, we haven't even got to the phone call yet. We haven't even got to a date yet. And he's already not allowing himself to accept what did not work. And we're wondering why is so many singles and people not connected. If you hear something in here, for yourself, you can go out, like, Now, I'm so curious. I want to hear in the comments who is okay with the fact that she asked for lunch. Can you send CashAPP me lunch? Because honestly, they haven't even talked on the phone yet. But I get that she's asking them to send me lunch because you may be oversleep, you may be running late from my work. That's the decent thing you could do is to make it up to me. CashAPP me some money for lunch, right? I think that was a lot. But what do you guys think, right? Is it fair? Now, also, it's fair for him to say no. He can go, no thanks, I'm not going to do that. But if we move further, I love to bring you a rose to apologize or something. But this guy hasn't even had the intuition to apologize after texting her 1 and 5 in the morning. I'm gonna move on from that story. I think you guys got it. I totally want to read every comment and hear inside of that story. Where do you think it could have went different ways, right? What do you think should have happened? So the bottom line, when she sent the screenshot and he responded, he responded, what did he say? Oh, I didn't intend on calling you. Again, not saying my bad. It wasn't my intention to call you. Yeah, some version of that. Still didn't own it. So she didn't respond. And she said she's not going to respond. What do you guys think? Should she respond? Some people go, well, you should let people know so they can grow for the next person. We should let people know so it's closure for you. You should block him. I'm not of that realm where everything is a block, right? What do you guys think? Should she block him? Now, here's my vote. My vote is this is definitely not going to be someone I would be able to personally flow with, because the amount of hiccups in just this less than 12 hours, well, not even, because that was from 1 to 5, and I think she said around 8ish, 9ish when she got to work. So we talking about in 9 hours. You see all of the hiccups and the bumbles of his character and who he is and who he isn't. it's pretty much over at that point. As far as I'm concerned, it's like move on and run, because this person is not going to take any responsibility. There's always going to be some reason that is your fault and that you need to adjust. Right? Do you guys hear that? Let me see in the comments here. What do you guys think? Should she move on? Should she give him another chance? I mean, he didn't even want the first chance because he texted him that time and didn't even get a chance. Because I think she gave him a chance by addressing it and saying, "Hey, that disturbs my rest, and it caused me to run late." That is the second chance, in my opinion. Some people would have just blocked them, period. Like, he don't even have any concept or respect of my time. I'm done. I'm out. Right? I want to hear what you guys got to say. Drop it in the comments. Stacy said I would not block him, but I wouldn't have gone for it. Maybe I should start blocking though. I hear you. What you got, Tosh? What would you say? Brenda, what would you say? What would you do after that kind of situation? You know, think about it. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share a story with you guys. It's either going to be client based or social media based, but I want to share and I want to pull it apart because these are right now things that are happening to people. So it won't be no made up story. It's going to be right now things that's happening to people. And we're wondering why we're like that dude. He probably wondering she over the top. He's probably only telling the story part of her asking him to cash app for lunch. So he's going to lose all accountability to any family and friends who would tell him he's wrong because he's just going to dwell on the part that makes her wrong. And as you're hearing this, if this sounds like you want to take a step back. Because if every date you're walking away and there's something wrong with them, one, we want to look at our picker. We want to look at our vetting system. How are we vetting these people before we even start going out on dates and connecting? So that this way, because sometimes we have a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we're constantly saying to everybody that, pissed in the dating pool, ain't no good men out there, ain't no good females out there, then every person you meet, you're going to expect that and you're going to turn them into a whether they are or not. So instead, what you're looking for a person that will compliment you. You only need one. So we don't got to worry about the pissy pool of dating. We won't be on that pissy side. We're going to throw some chlorine in there. We're going to throw some love, understanding, higher vetting. We're going to go to the places where the people that I would connect with be. We're going to get out of side of that shallow side of that pool. And we're going to generate a space that we can create the other us that will complement us. How would you like that? Right, everybody? Get out of that shallow pool. That shallow pool is that kind of conversation that, boy, it ain't that many good men out here. Oh, these women, find me a loyal woman that just don't want you to pay for her to not work. Those kinds of conversation is creating the energy, your vibes, and your mind's eye. So soon as you go on a date with a woman and she asks for an extra drink, oh, here we go. She ain't just thirsty. She got to be a gold digger. And fellas, where is the gold? If we gold diggers, most of y'all, we ain't coming to. You working your regular job, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But to be, insinuating, these women out here are gold diggers, they wouldn't, most of them, honestly, wouldn't be coming to you. You're not making six figures. You don't have an excess amount of money. You can pay your bills, take care of your children. Namaste. We can go out on dates every now and then. Most of people's jobs are a Googleable moment. Women are like, honey, the FBI ain't got nothing on women. You tell me what you do, where you live, what kind of car you got. Most women is on the okay, he makes approximately. So they're not coming for gold because you don't have any. So let's put that down. So you're talking as if you're in that category and just not. And your approach to women because of that is a turn off to most women because they're looking at you like, dude, if I was trying to go for gold, it wouldn't be with you because I could tell you don't even have that. So you want to turn that off because that don't apply to you. What you're asking yourself is, again, where's the half? Where's the woman, the female version that will compliment me? What does she look like? What does she feel like? What was she like? What would we enjoy doing? And get in that space instead of trying to run from the gold digger, run from the woman that's trying to use you. And that's all on your mind. You want to run too. You want to pursue the woman who's going to love you for everything that you are and you aren't. That you are a faithful provider. You are a loyal man. that you will sit down and talk to her and you will listen to her. You're going to hold her hand if her mom is sick. You're going to hold her hand and listen to her just go on and on about this promotion. Should she take it? Should she not? You're going to support her through it, right? You want to picture the type of woman that you actually want versus thinking about all the ratchetness. Because what you focus on expands. Drop that in there, guys. What you focus on expands. Miguel, hey, so glad to have you here. What Miguel say? I concur with you regarding the self-fulfilling prophecy. We need to adjust our mindset to be more positive. I totally agree, right, Miguel? We got to adjust that mindset. What can really hurt us? Let me go back a little bit. I see Stacy talking about blocking them. Yeah, I read that part. Miguel says, sorry, but I chimed in late, so I missed the context of the opinion to block or move on. Okay, I could definitely re-get that. But do you hear that? That is just like a stand-up guy. He doesn't go, what we talking about? Which is just so like, kind of blow it off, right? He doesn't go, I don't follow. No, he's acknowledging. He says, Miguel, I'm gonna pull this apart for a minute. Stay with me in this very good way because I just love how he presented that. He said, sorry, but I chimed in late. So I missed the context for the opinion on block or move on. Do you hear the accountability, the ownership, right? So you're willing to repeat yourself. Gentlemen, you just can't can't jump in and act like you hearing a woman and she looking at you like you weren't listening to me at all. You just lost the respect and her ability to even want your opinion when you try to act as if. I love that he said that. He like, just chimed in. Sorry. So what we're talking about, Miguel, just to share that really quick opinion of block or move on. The gentleman was definitely not as accountable as you were and kept pushing the conversation back to the female. And so at the end, we're like, should she block him? Should she just move on? And we're in a generation where everybody's just blocking people for any reason and no reason at all. So that's where we were. But definitely, we're only a little bit in, so you can listen to the context in the beginning as well to get a little more detail. Brenda said, I would not have asked for lunch. However, I would have let him know we are not a match, and I'm moving on from him. I would not have asked him for lunch. However, I would let him know we are not a match and then remove him from my phone. Totally, I think that's totally acceptable. I don't like to personally, I don't practice ghosting people. Because first of all, I truly believe you reap what you sow. And as you're poking a hole in somebody else's soul, you're poking one in yourself because you're not treating them like you would want someone to treat you. So I think it's very admirable to say that statement. I have about 3 or 4 statements that I copy and paste and I send it to my clients that's just starting the date so they'll know exactly what to say. And that is absolutely one of them, which is we are not a match. And then I go, good luck on finding love. In this case, I don't think I would have said that to him because I don't know if he needs to find love from anybody right now, that he needs to work on himself. And then Michael said, I concur. Just the mindset. Stacy said, don't even have no gold and that gold there. They got brass, maybe silver. Study worrying about gold digging, right? I know it's just ridiculous. You hear these celebrities and athletes saying those statements or applying that to those types of people, and then your regular Joes is saying that, and then your regular ladies are talking about, I want a man. This is gonna be a whole nother show. We're gonna definitely do that, guys. Talking about I want a man that allow me to stay home and I don't have to work. I'm not saying that's not something you should not want or should want. What I am saying is, do you have the qualities that will make a man want to provide for you to that level? Like, do you bring him that level of peace? Because I was watching one show and they were talking about a woman was saying that she's serving 2 masters. When she's working, she's serving that master. Then she got to come home and serve you as her master and then take care of the children and run the house. What does she have left for herself? So bringing her home allows her to have that holistic view instead of serving 2 masters. Totally love the concept and I absolutely agree. And I'll definitely break that down in another show as well. However, so many women are so unorganized, unchurched or religion, or have some spirituality about themselves, right? Can't really run a household, very unorganized when it comes to drop off, pickup, shopping, getting the kids to the dentist appointment, always forgetting an appointment, right? Running late constantly, looking chaotic. So, and that's not because she's working, that's because she hasn't mastered those skills, right? So what benefit would a man have to work extra hard and or work a second job to bring you home? What would that do to the household? Would it be even more crazier and unorganized and dirty and clothes all over the place because you haven't even mastered those skills yet? Would you be spending even more money because now you're home and hitting Amazon more, right? So, what qualities in you as a woman do you bring him peace, or you bring him harmony, right? Is you bring him respect that when he steps out the door with you, people are looking like, wow, look, she well put together, she's classy, right? We're gonna talk about that. It's a whole nother conversation. Here we go. And she talked about the brass. Miguel said, I don't think all guys think like that. Of course not. We don't see all women as gold diggers. Thank you for sharing that. Some of us simply want a woman that demonstrates the qualities that you just mentioned. Perfect. I agree, Miguel. I don't think all men, and hopefully you won't ever hear me go all men or all women on this platform. And if you do, that's going to be a far stretch. So I don't think all men, but I think many men will absolutely have that notion, specifically if you are entrenched in social media. Which I'm going to pause and say, I think it's really good to fall back off of social media if you hear yourself like a broken record, or you keep seeing yourself go on dates and you come out of the date and you're disappointed because she ain't and women ain't and men ain't. You need to sit in your soul, get off of social media, take, a break, a 2-3 day fast, and just get off of it. Sit with your own thoughts and reset. What do I want in a relationship? What's a healthy relationship? Where do healthy people go that want a relationship? What do they do? Right? How do they dress? Am I dressing that way? Am I speaking that way? Right? If I was a healthy man, what kind of text messages would I be sending to a healthy woman? That's some interperspective kind of conversation, guys. If you're looking through your text messages and you got what I hope to be a couple of people you're dating, because I absolutely advocate for dating multiple people at the same time. It's a time saver. It also allows you to compare the way that they're being with you. So one sister, it's your birthday, she like happy birthday. It's another sister, she ain't saying nothing. 3 days later, she go, oh yeah, I forgot. Another one, give you a shout out. Another one send you cake. It depends, right, on the depth of the relationship, no question about it. But you want to see, how do they make you feel? How do they celebrate you? Is she just like, oh, that's nice, because she wants to be the one that's always in the light? So it's a great way to really see how people dance and how they connect with you and what lights you up and what makes you feel really good about when you're dating certain people. So I highly advocate that you date multiple people. Let's bring it on in. So when you look into your text, men, I'm just gonna start with you, and women. If every other text is about intimacy, you know, heated fellowship, why? Are you really trying to get to know this person, or that's just what y'all trying to get to? And if that's what y'all trying to get to, y'all two consenting adults, do your thing. Do your thing and do it well, right? But if it's not, and you say you're really seeking out relationship and friendship and companionship and somebody that you're trying to marry, too much too soon. You got to know this person's character, because guess what? You stand in about 90% of the relationship. That's only about 10% of the relationship. I know it's important to men. I totally get that. I'm not saying you need to neglect if that need's going to be met, how often it's going to be met, and have those kind of conversations. But every conversation shouldn't end and begin with sex. It shouldn't end and begin with heated fellowship. Because guess what, guys? Guess what? That's called being hypersexual. And that can drain the interest of a woman who's really looking to see if you are a provider, a protector, right? If you're covering for her. It's like, oh my goodness, every other conversation, it's just too much about too much, because we got so much more in life that we have to deal with, that we have to process, that decisions we have to make, than just to be about that. Now, I'm a Scorpio, so I love it. I love some heated fellowship. We can begin and end with that when I'm in a relationship. That's a great nightcap, and that's a great way to wake up, right? So I definitely need someone that has a great appetite for heated fellowship, right? And the other hours that we're up will also determine, do I want it from you? Because if you're constantly fumbling, making quality decisions, or finances is crazy because you're overspending or underspending, not investing, then I'm gonna be turned off. Like, I can't even concentrate because the financial pressure is too much. So now by the time night, I'm done. My libido is sliding, and a lot of women is like that, fellas. Listen up. So the way you run the household and the way you lead turns on a woman and makes her attracted to you and feel comfortable that she can get lost in your soul while she's being intimate, right? So, guys, we talking tonight. We talking the real deal. We talking about why is there so many single people and people not connecting. And we said some of the reasons why is just the basic introduction. People are texting people throughout the night, texting very sensual, way too soon, coming across that, you gotta be this way or I'm good, right? These false standards. Someone sent me a clip where this young lady's talking about she was in divorce court with one of the or maybe some kind of court show, and she was saying I'm not lowering my standards because I want a wedding that's at least 100,000. And the African American judge was like, didn't have it. 32 years married. You don't need that. You talking about the party? What have you done to plan for the wedding? Excuse me, for the marriage. And I agree, I concur 1,000%. So we're trying to demand to see how much money we can get out of a guy, how quick we can be intimate with a girl. But if you're really looking for a relationship, you want to take that thing slow and figure out who this person is to me. Do we just do we mesh, and do we kind of gel together? And that's so crucial, and that takes time and intentionality. Time and intentionality. So let me wrap this up like this. So if you're saying we're focused, what? Let me see. I might have missed a few comments. Let me see. I concur that you regarded the self-fulfilling prophecy. Yep, we read that. Don't even go. Yep, we read that. Do you think like simple? Yep, qualities. Just you mentioned. Yep, I just wanted to check in case someone said something. So it's necessary, right, guys? When you planning a date, you want to plan a date that you actually get to look at each other. I would not recommend like concerts, something that you're completely distracted for 2 hours looking that way. You want to look at each other, or even if you sit next to each other, you kind of, feeling each other vibe. You're talking, you're exchanging information, stories, something that you can really connect with. If you go into a movie, make sure that the dinner is likely afterwards. That way you can sit there afterwards and talk about the movie, break it down, pull it apart, and still indulge in one another to to know each other. I still don't encourage a movie. I think that's like third, fourth, fifth date. That's like down the line because you're trying to figure out, do I even like this person enough to spend more time with them to get a second date? So that's the goal. So it's a quick bite to eat. It's a nice restaurant so you can hear each other and really connect. It's a coffee shop, depending on your schedule and your time. And then and it's not, if I see this meme one more time, guys, they keep saying, what do you ask on a first date? And people are saying, like, what gender were you on your birth certificate? Ah, it's crazy the kind of questions. What's your credit score? Have you been to therapy? Have you ever been diagnosed with mental? Come on, guys. That is not first date kinds of conversation. It has no finesse. It feels intrusive. It feels like I'm in an interview. It's not the time to do that. Now, if you want to have certain kinds of conversations prior to having a date, it still needs to have some finesse with it. It still needs to have when you feeling that person, y'all busting it up and y'all really talking about some things, right? But to ask somebody their credit score on their first date, I'm not giving that information. That's none of your business. And a credit score, you can have a number and still be broke and still be tight and still not really can afford the way you're living, right? So what you're trying to listen for, what makes this person tick? Because many people, I had a partner. He had an urban air. For those who don't know what that is, like a big trampoline park. And this gentleman was making a killing. He's making a killing just from the food on a Saturday. It's like $26,000. And then COVID came and they just shut it down. Just stop. Last week you made $26,000 just from the food, and now you can't open. And it went from 2 weeks to 6 to months. So you got to know, is this person now going to transition themselves because they lost that kind of money? Are they going to go into a depression? Are they going to start cheating? Are they going to, what is their default when things in life start breaking down, right? You want to know that kind of stuff, because these credit scores, people can do what they do, write letters, go through one of those programs, and that's all good. But who are they when the chips fall down? How do they know how to recover, right? Is what you really looking for. And that's over time, right? Like you order tickets, you get there, they oversold. Are they flipping out? Are they, well, look, we'll just go on and get on that airline, or we'll just go on and get to a concert another day? Or like, are they huffing and puffing? Are they now snapping at you? So you want to spend some time with folks when you're starting to date, and you want to use some practical dates that you can actually get to know them. Because all of these over the top dates that people are talking about, well, he got to spend this and he got, for what? And I tell my son, I don't recommend that you spend a whole lot of money, especially on the first couple of dates. You don't, nobody need no 7 5 course meal. To decide if you want to spend time. Now, I'll be honest with you. Generally, gentlemen take me some very nice places, and namaste. I enjoy it, and I will not turn it down for sure, because the caliber of men I date, that's the places they eat anyway. So that's where they would go as well. But for my younger people, it's so appropriate to go to a second level place. We're not going to top level places off the door, off the top, unless you are like 6 figures and so forth, because that's where you eat. So even my 30-year-old son, I tell him to take her where you would eat. You can give it 2 3 choices and go, which one would you like? Now, because my son is a gentleman, he likes very good food. He's definitely going to do an upscale, next level when he's ready to take a female out. Namaste, that's his choice. But for these women to be demanding, is this over the top? Is this the yuck? And you wonder why you're single? That is just why. You don't have a right to demand anything. A gentleman is courting you, taking you out to see if you're suitable for him, and vice versa. So to demand he has to spend a certain type of money is just a turn off. It's disgusting to me, as far as I'm concerned. And I know that's up with the top. I don't normally say that, but it really is. And it's not just because I'm a relationship coach, but it's also because I have a son, I have brothers, I have cousins. And for this era to think that a female could demand to take anywhere, it's one thing to have a preference. Like for me, that list that came out of places you can eat and don't take take on the first date. Be honest with you, 90% of them I could not go and don't want to go. I'll have a bubble gut, right? You won't be able to see me for another 4 days for the second date, because that stuff just don't agree with my body, right? That's that. But to just demand is just over the top. That's a whole nother regulator we have to talk about. All right, Miguel said that's an excellent point. When people are hit with hand makers in their life, haymakers in their life, you can get a uh, real bead for who they are by how they rebound. Okay, got it. Yes, that's, and I know I jacked it up trying to read it out loud, but absolutely, when life gets the life in, this allows you to really see who this person is or isn't. Are they breaking down? Are they going back to their ex for money, for opinion? I'm gonna just sit with that for a second, right? Are they running to their parents for opinion and money? And when I say running, like my son and I, we got a great relationship, but he is a man's man. He might want my vote, but he is absolutely making his own decision. And and typically he might want to vent. I'm a problem solver, so I normally go to him. We had to make this agreement years ago. Am I just listening, or you actually want me to share? He'll go, Mom, I just want you to listen. So many times while I'm listening, he's literally working it out and comes up with his own answer. So I'm like, hands off. That took me a minute to do, because he's my young man, he's my son. And as he got older, I'm still wanting to solve problems, but I had to let him fly. Same thing. You want to know, the female you're dating, is she gonna always want to solve the problems and tell you what to do? That's a turn off for a man's man. Or is she willing to listen and just aid you in your process and go, I'm sure you're gonna figure that out. Or you're gonna be an enabler. This is what you should do. Let me tell you what you should do. Because nobody wants that person to tell you what to do. And gentlemen, do you have the finesse to go here, honey? Listen, this what I see. This is my vote. This is how I think it should go. You let me know what you think. Let me share. And ask each other. Set that dance up. Because every time a significant other or somebody you're dating wants to share, sometimes they just might want to get it off of them and be able to say what it is to say. But ladies, you can't one up a man. Every time he goes to share with you something he's about to do, and you go something like, well, you got to get your LLC first because you got to protect yourself. And, da, 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 da. And to make sure you get your website, stop. It's a turn off. He don't need a mother. He don't need a business coach. He wants to be able to, many times, simply impress you by sharing with his thoughts what he actually is up to and what he's trying to do. So you just listen with awe or impressiveness that you are impressed and go, That's a great idea. Wow. You really going to do that? That's going to be amazing. And if he asks for your insight, then you may offer it. But every time he's saying something, you go, yeah, I've been there too. Yep, and I went to. Not always. Just listen. You might have been there and done that twice. But how do a man is very important for men to be able to impress you, to be able to show what he's accomplished. So I'm not asking you to shrink. I'm asking you to allow his story to be his story. You don't need to concur. You can just go, you enjoyed that vacation. Wow, that does sound amazing. You could have been wherever 5 times already. No need to share all of that. Let the man share what he shared because you're shrinking him every time you do that. If every time he comes to you with a problem, an idea, a thought, and you one up him, well, make sure you, and you also gotta copyright that. You're like, oh my goodness, you're mothering him, you're enabling him, and he won't be able to flourish. He won't be able to feel like the man around you. And listen, I'm not advocating cheating because you can feel less than a man and go get therapy, go to Jesus, go to the mosque, go to the synagogue, go to the gym. You don't have to go to another woman. I'm not advocating that. What I am saying though is if a man doesn't have a safe place to come and put his head and be heard and still a man in the morning, he's going to seek it out somewhere. So all men ain't mama's boys. Some of the women that they're married to has shut them down so much. He goes rely on his mom to have a release and a safe place to be a man. And you think he's getting his information and his answers from his mom because that's how you treat him, that you're the answer, when really he just want to be heard and saw like a man should be seen and not cheat on you. Oh, that's a whole nother thing, guys. That's a whole nother thing because as I'm sitting in front of couples, I'm sitting in front of singles, I'm sitting with several people going through a divorce. And I'm like, sis, you have dethroned your husband way before he cheated. The cheating is a sidebar. And you know, the sisters be upset with me. The man be like, yes, finally somebody that's telling her the truth because she keep focusing on my cheating as if the way she hasn't been treating me for years didn't lead up to that. Now don't get confused. I'm telling you, he could have went to the gym. He ain't had to cheat. He could have went to his mama house. He could have got a second job. He could have went with the boys and go play pool. He could have done something else. He did not have to cheat. So I'm not condoning cheating. And what I am saying is most men that are cheating, that are good men, have been dethroned for years in his kingdom where the children are in front of him, the in-laws, the jobs, the education, the career. So he like 6 on a totem pole, and you'll get to him when he get to him because he knows he loves you. You love him. And you want how long you think he gonna stay right here, feeling less than a man, feeling shrinked, not honored, not seen and heard. How long you think he gonna stay right there? So okay, he don't cheat, but you'll never get the fullness of who he is because he don't feel full around you. He feels shrink, he feels small, insignificant. So okay, he don't cheat. Let's give him that. But you still will never get the king that you desire, and you'll wonder why he don't step up, which that just pushed him down even more. Where he stepping to? Stepping over your mom? Stepping over the children? Or he did not step over your education. And sure enough, not your career. And don't forget your girl. So he got to step over all of those people, which is going to be a battle in of itself to even get back to where he used to be. So he just gives up and he gets silent and he gets distant. And every vacation he feels like a reason why not to, and you and the kids go, or you and the girlfriend go. Oh, this one is heavy right here at the end. This one is heavy at the end, guys. Share this because there's so many women that are about to go through a divorce, watching all this craziness on social media, thinking they are, boss ladies and calling shots, and they're demoting their man and not recognizing that they are. But make no mistake about it, another woman gonna pick him up and dust him off and let him actually be the legend that he is in real life. I just watched that, and this is how we'll wrap this up and end it because I got to get baby girl. And I want to see you guys right back here next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, listen, if this has moved you and touched and inspired, you can go ahead and send on my Cash App, Focus James. You can send on Cash App a donation. If you want to ask the question, if you want to meet me after this, you can do that as well. You can send a donation, go Focus, I'd like to meet with you. and we can set that up as well. But if it's feeling good to you, you're like, wow, this moved me, and I definitely want to share it with my girlfriend, my boy, or somebody you know, share it. So everybody that's on here, not only give a like, please share it. Send this to somebody that you know it will make a difference. They're trying to figure out how to date. You know somebody. Everybody knows somebody that's been cheated on. That is cheating, right? And I don't want to just stay to infidelity. A lot of people cheat in church. Oh, don't hang up, don't click off, y'all. Don't unsubscribe. I mean, how much church you need to go to? Your kids is failing in school. You don't have a solid relationship with your spouse and your parents and your neighbors. You don't even know who your neighbors is. You talking about you evangelizing. Who's the last person you brought to church, synagogue, or mosque? Let's really talk about it. Because if you're going to church to hide from your life, you're addicted like alcohol and drugs. A gym rat having extramarital sex because you're not using it for the tool it was used, which is first to heal yourself and connect to your God, whatever, whoever you're connecting with, but to also bring others. When the last time you brought anybody? Or you're a hermit and you're just trying to stay protected and hide in this place so you really don't have to deal with life, right? I'm gonna leave that right there. Last but not least, I'm gonna end with another story. Brenda Solutions need to create as a space for each other. Exactly, definitely for each other. Miguel, thanks. That's an excellent point. Yep, we talked about that. I'm gonna end with this story. So I absolutely watched this couple date, get married, and we were at an event where she was, whew, she literally was in a microphone and he was motioning to her, reminding her of something. And her response was really shocking. She was like, um, pretty much just for not too much to tell, because some people will know exactly what I'm talking about. Was just pretty much like, I don't need you to remind me, but in front of everybody in the microphone. So it just shrunk him. And you can see where the end was beginning already, right? And then years later, there was definitely a divorce. There was no shock, I don't think, to anybody, and he got married again, and this person makes him feel like a king, and he is thriving, and he is doing amazing financially. He is doing every time you see him, he is just happy. I saw them, when the first couple before they got divorced, and I saw them having dinner one day, and I went to greet them, and hey, he barely would look up at me. He was looking up, at his food, and barely. And she was so surly and just snappy. And you can see the embarrassment of this king shrinking. Because before I knew them as individuals, singles, he was thriving. He was a king. He was growing. When he walked in the room, everybody had questions, and his stamina, his swagger. And then they got together and he shrunk. And at that meal, I was like, wow, this is really not going to last long. And there was no space, because some people don't want to be told anything. Life just got to happen. And hopefully you can swing back around and help them deal with it. But it was no space to deal with. You know that person right now, and I'm going to ask you to share with them. You know that person right now, they can't hear from you. You probably tried to tell them before, but this is a redirect, because a third party is powerful, because they know I don't know them. I just know that personality type. And then for years, you can hear her saying snarky remarks, blaming him for the divorce. Now, I don't know if her good friends are telling her the truth, but I was hoping and wishing she would ask or say something to me, because I totally want to enlighten her and go, sis, you killed that marriage. He might have cheated, but you killed that marriage way before he cheated. And I really want to be able to coach her and have a conversation. But people won't be ready until they're ready. And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Send this, share it, and like it, guys. Comment, like it, guys, and comment and send it, because you might not know this is their time. They're ready to be a student and break free. Or they're gonna be calling you all day and night, complaining about their significant other. Send them a tool is gonna actually help them grow. Guys, I'll see y'all on next Wednesday. This is Focus from the Focus of Love. And I'll see you on next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, right here on the live. I've gotten a laundry list of topics you all want to talk about. So please keep dropping it. Drop it right here in the comment. All those that are listening to the replay, when you comment, hit hashtag replay and then drop your comment. Definitely share a topic you want us to talk next week. I don't have it yet. I have so many choices to choose from, but I will let you know. And you'll see the live being posted. And you want to make sure you hit the notification and subscribe. So we'll see you on next Wednesday. Thank you for your time, guys. Hugs and kisses. I love. So if you got any great dating stories or any stories you want to share about love, You can message me directly. I want to hear it all. All right, guys. Talk to you later. This is Focus on the Focus and Love. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming, everyone.